How I'm breaking down my opinion of boss fights is going to be as follows. 1, how fun were they to fight? 2, how visually appealing were they? How like interesting were they to check out and to, you know, see the design? 3, how much did I think there was like interesting lore or world stuff built around them? 4, how challenging were they? I personally enjoy a challenge. I like something that I have to really lock into and can't just walk in, beat the first time, walk away. So, with that all said, the 4 Kings. The 4 Kings will go into B tier for me. The 4 Kings, visually, I thought were really cool. I liked this really freaky, giant man kind of approaching out of the darkness. That was cool. And from a gameplay perspective, I liked the panic that set in when the boss fight started, and I was like, oh no, I don't know if there's going to be multiple of them attacking me at the same time, and I need to just blitz my way to victory. So that really instilled a sense of urgency that made the fight all the more adrenaline rush, you know? So that was cool. You know what? I'm actually going to move the 4 Kings up to A. I had fun with the 4 Kings. I beat them on my first try. They weren't exceptionally challenging, but it was still very, very fun. The Gaping Dragon, I'm going to put into C tier. It didn't leave a strong impression on me. I remember it opened the cutscene with like a little crocodile head peeking up out of the water, and then just this big toothy monster showing up. It was spooky, it was fun, but it wasn't really exciting to me. And the boss fight itself was just kind of, here's a big monster that's rushing at you, stay out of its way. So mechanically, it didn't really do a whole lot for me. It definitely does not stand out to me as one of the better boss fights in the game. Great Grey Wolf Sif will go straight into B tier. Fun fight, but not super complex, not very difficult. And I don't know. I didn't have much to say about Sif. He's a good boyo. He's protecting his master's grave. As a boss fight itself, though, it doesn't do a whole lot that I haven't seen before. And design-wise, it's a big wolf with a sword. Not new. Especially as compared to a lot of FromSoft's character designs and boss designs, something like the 4 Kings, which are like freaky and spooky, something like Manus, which is this crazy monster, something like Seath the Scaleless, who is a scaleless crystalline dragon. Like, there's a lot of really interesting and new visuals. And I feel like a wolf with a sword is just a little tame for FromSoft, you know? It makes you cry, that's what it does. The best part of the 4 Kings was the 5th King. Yeah, that's a strange bug to still have in the game. Okay, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. A tier, but not as high as the 4 Kings. Maybe this will change as I dig into the lore. But I didn't really know why Gwyn was there and why he was fighting me. I didn't really understand what was going on necessarily. So I have to judge this on his design and on the fight. The fight itself was really fun. I liked the fight a lot. Oh, this is the prologue music. He's fast, he's aggressive, he's very fair. It really does feel like you can dodge these. This is a guy with a sword. If you lock in, you can dodge it. You can get out of the way. You can counter him. But he's not going to make it easy for you. Oh, scroll up a little bit. Sorry. Whoopsies. He's not going to make it easy for you. And for a final boss, I think that works nicely. I think it really says, hey, you're not walking out of this game until you prove that you're good enough for it. Till you prove that you've learned the skills. Iron Golem, B tier. Low B tier, maybe C tier. I'll put it in C tier. The Iron Golem was a fine fight. the arena is a little bit obnoxious to deal with. Not in a way that feels necessarily fun and challenging, but in a way that's like, oh, I'm rolling up against a bunch of rubble. Now, I guess I'm just going to get smashed into 1,000 tiny pieces. So, the arena, kind of meh, and then of course you're getting knocked off all the time. He's janky as hell. Easily the most janky boss fight that I did. I swear I dodge rolled out of the way of these grab attacks, but nah. You can be on another continent and he just grabs you and smashes you into the ground. I also wasn't sure what happened when I staggered him. I was sitting there spamming fire spells and then he just bent over and I just finished the fight. I took out like half of his health bar while he was just not moving. I don't know if that's jank. I don't know if that's the way the boss is designed, if I like found a hidden weakness or something, but it didn't feel like exciting and earned. Iron Golem's just a silly goofball who just falls off the bridge. I wish he had fallen off the bridge. I think he can fall off the ledge depending on where he's at. That's funny. I imagine he's probably programmed not to, but there's probably an exploit. The Moonlight Butterfly, I have to put it into D tier. I walked up to the boss arena, I was super overleveled, I cast 5 spells, and then I walked away. It has a pretty design, I like its music, but as a boss fight, it wasn't a boss fight. Naito! S tier! S tier boss fight! I loved Naito. I honestly, when I was thinking about my favorite boss fights, this one didn't even spring to mind, but now that I think about it, like, first of all, design-wise, I think this is my favorite design in the game. Scary as hell, metal as hell, really awesome character design. I really, really liked that I dropped into this boss chamber and panicked immediately. In terms of the game's difficulty, I said earlier today, one of the most notorious difficulty spikes in the game is anytime you encounter more than one enemy at a time. Well, how about here's a boss that's going to be slowly stalking you through the arena while I think 6 different ads who all have different like skills and moves that you have to be aware of are chasing you down. And guess what? Here's the kicker. You can't kill them. They're permanent. They will respawn. That is a challenge, but it wasn't a terribly unfair challenge, at least when I showed up. I was able to beat him on my first try, but he was scary. My heart was pounding. So mechanically, it was fun. Design-wise, it was fun. The mechanics really tied into the lore and the story. Like, I understand who this character is. I understand why I am being attacked by a bunch of skeletons. That was cool. You can prevent them from respawning. Oh, really? How? Is it with holy damage? Because I never used any holy damage, but that would be my guess. I dislike Horde boss battle fights, but yeah, since they were simply ignorable, Naito worked. Yeah, with a divine weapon? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Ornstein and Smaug, also S tier. I knew about this fight going into this. I think that Ornstein and Smaug was the only boss on this list. No, I also knew about the Asylum Demon. So those two were the only bosses that I had ever heard of. And Ornstein and Smaug were awesome. Ornstein and Smaug were a really fun fight that I would love to do again. I really wish there was a boss rush type of mode in this game. I'm glad that they did that with Sekiro, and I would love to see it done here. Character-wise, like, they are a Dragon Slayer and an Executioner in service of, like, the king. You don't need a whole lot of complexity, but you get what you need out of them. Their designs are a fun contrast between, like, you know, the classic small skinny dude and big rotund guy. They have mechanics that play off of one another in a way that's not super oppressive, but also doesn't give you a cakewalk either. And then once you beat one of them, the other one gets juiced up. That's fun. S tier, no questions asked. Pinwheel is gonna go also into D tier, below the Moonlight Butterfly, I think. I'm gonna quiet the music by just a hair. The Pinwheel fight wasn't much of anything, really. And Pinwheel even shows up as a standard enemy later. Design-wise, I think it's cool, but that doesn't save the fact the boss fight itself was a nothing burger. The character is reused later. The boss arena wasn't exciting. I don't have a whole lot of good to say about Pinwheel as compared to the other bosses. Now, let me be clear here. This D tier does not mean I didn't like the boss. I honestly don't think there was any boss that I didn't have fun with. So, that is a testament to the successful design of this game. Pinwheel, even though I think it was an underwhelming boss fight, was still fun to experience. I'd be interested to see you rank Bloodborne bosses. I want to play Bloodborne so bad. Please give me a PC port. I am begging you to let me give you money, FromSoft. Seath. B tier. Seath. I think I have the hardest time ranking Seath because I don't know what that fight was. I got into that fight and then I just panic rolled through a lot of crystals and smacked him until he died. I have no idea what was going on. All I know is there's a lot of damage and it curses you, I think. I never found out what curse does either. His design is cool. I like his character from what I was able to glean. And this notion of a dragon who is different from his own kind because he doesn't have scales, turning against his own kind and using a source of power that the dragons don't have access to is really interesting. The fact that he became a duke and went on to study sorcery, like, it's a really unique take on a dragon, and I think that's really cool. But, like, the boss fight itself was just a cluster. Curse is Deathlight, but it also cuts down your max HP to half until you respawn. Oh, that's brutal. That's really brutal. You know, I think Pinwheel is designed to be fought in the beginning of the game since it gives you the kindling item and takes like 5 minutes to run from the shrine to him if you know where to go. Yeah, I just blinded my way past it. I never found the catacombs until way later in the game than I should have. If they had PC ported but said you had to use a PS4 controller, you'd see a vast increase in sales for said controllers. That is the controller type that I use. I like the PS4 controller a lot. Way better than the PS5 controller, personally. Alright, moving on. Asylum Demon. C tier, it's the Erdtree Avatar. I've fought this thing 1,000 times. It's the basic tutorial boss. I don't think we need to linger on this one. The Stray Demon will go up into B tier, above Grey Wolf Sith. The Stray Demon was a lot of fun. Matter of fact, I'm putting it up into A tier. The Stray Demon took me a lot of time to figure out, and that's good because it meant that I actually had to figure it out. I needed to develop a strategy. I needed to time my dodges. I needed to camera lock and unlock. I needed to run past. I needed to position very deliberately. Really fun. It doesn't have great design. It doesn't have story relevance or anything, but just I had fun fighting this boss. The Taurus Demon will go into B tier. It was the first actual boss of the game. It was fun. It was a rush. It's a demon on a bridge. Nothing exciting, really. Nothing fancy. Nothing bad. So it's perfectly average. The Bed of Chaos. This one's going to be probably the hottest take on this tier list, I think. Bed of Chaos I'm going to put into A tier. I really liked walking into this boss fight. First of all, let me back up here. It would be criminal for me to put Bed of Chaos any lower than this, if only because the boss fight starts with you going down a little slide and you get to kind of like Mario Kart your way left and right. There's no reason they needed to do that. There's a ton of other boss fights that start with you just dropping into an arena and taking damage. Nah, they let you enter this one in style, so that was fun. But then I walked into this boss fight and I saw this big, scary monster visually really striking. I like the design very much. And then I looked to the left and the right, and I saw, okay, here's these two glowing baubles or something. So I am gonna run over to one of them and try to whack it. I thought it was gonna be a barrier at first. I thought it was gonna be like a shield. But then I walked inside of it and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm supposed to hack away at the roots. And that's what I did, and I was right. I got swept off of the cliff once, and then I went and did the other one. And then I walked up to its core, and I thought, okay, now its defenses are down, and I'm going to be able to deal damage to it. No, I can't deal damage to it, but I can see that there's more routes for me to go through. Let's follow that pattern. And then there is the win. You beat the little monster inside. This one only took me 2 tries. I only died to Bed of Chaos once. But the reason that I don't think it's as terrible as everyone else seems to is it establishes a pattern. It is a puzzle boss, and it is a well-executed puzzle boss. You are visually drawn to the relevant information. Once you have learned what to do once, you repeat that a second time, and then once you have done that, now it takes away the hand-holding. It takes away the glowing orange beacon that says, hey, look over here, because you as the player have learned that you need to hack away at the roots. So now, once you get up to the boss's main body, now you see those roots, you know what to do. It's on you to figure that out. It's not on the game. Perhaps my opinion of this is colored by the fact that I didn't die to it 1,000 times. I didn't get swept off into the abyss. I didn't have the floor crumble out from underneath me. But I thought it was fun. And outside the mechanics, the location that it's in, really cool. I really liked Lost Izalith. I know what the story is for this character. This was the first pyromancer who, like, succumbed to the magic that they were trying to control and became like the spawning point of all demons or something. Like, story-wise, it makes sense. It's a cool concept. Design-wise, as you progress with the fight, it gets spookier and creepier. I really like the Bed of Chaos. All I'm saying is you're the only person I've ever seen who's ranked Bed of Chaos in a different place other than the very bottom of F tier. I don't know, man. I just had a different experience with Bed of Chaos. I liked it. Who's this? Oh, Artorias the Abyss Walker, S tier. Easy S tier. Fantastic boss fight. Fast-paced, adrenaline rush kind of a boss fight. Very even. It felt like you are a knight and a skilled one at that, and this is a clash between two very skilled combatants. Really, really fun mechanics. Story-wise, I know who Artorias is by the time I get there. I'm invested in their character, and I am interested to see that they have fallen to the abyss. I think that's really cool. He likes Lost Izalith. He's too far gone. We'll get to my thoughts on Lost Izalith when we do the next tier list. What is this? Oh, Kalameet. Kalameet B tier? Higher than Seath? Yeah, top of B tier. Kalameet was fun. I liked Kalameet. First of all, I acknowledge that Kalameet is a repeat of the final boss of Kingsfield. That is a reference that is not going to land for most people who play this game. It just so happens that I have watched a couple of playthroughs of Kingsfield, and as soon as I saw the design, I was like, hang on. Big black dragon, one orange eye in the center of its triangular head. That's the final boss of Kingsfield. So I like that that is a reference to the heritage of the Souls franchise. I think that's really cool. Second, his design is still interesting. It's not new, but it's interesting, so he wins points there. The fight itself wasn't super exciting to me once I really learned what to do. I spent like 20 minutes trying to get a tail cut. We did it, but like, I never need to touch Kalameet again, okay? So, put all of that together, it was fine. It was a fine fight. Manus. Manus goes somewhere in S tier, but where? Probably up at the very, very top. I think Manus might be my favorite boss fight in the game. Yeah. I think I'm pretty confident saying Manus is my favorite boss fight in the game. First, let's talk about visual design. You arrive in the Chasm of the Abyss, this dark, oppressive, terrifying place, and you have to have a light spell or a lantern or something, otherwise you are getting assaulted by the spirits of darkness. You are being dragged down into the abyss by humanity itself, lost to whoever originally it belonged to. You arrive at the fog gate, and then there is this crazy darkness monster with glowing red spots, horns, one giant arm that is ready to grab you and smash you into the ground. It feels like a giant ape that has been corrupted, and it is not giving you any room to breathe. That is awesome design visually. The arena is scary, and it really feels like I'm trapped in here with this monster born from the darkness. The fight itself, very fun. It had fair mechanics, it had very notable tells. Like, I could see, okay, he's doing his scream, that means I need to make space. He's winding up, that means I need to wait just a second before I dodge. If I'm far away, he's gonna do the big sweep. You get to phase 2, he starts doing these darkness spells, so it was dynamic as well. Overall, just a riot of a boss fight. Really, really fun. I found out after the fact that there is an item that you can get that you can deflect the dark magic from. That's cool too. So just like really, really cool. It had bespoke mechanics. It had an awesome design. It had fun gameplay. Peak of Dark Souls 1 for me. I think this is easily my favorite. I like Artorias more, but that's mostly on style. Yeah, and that's totally fair. Artorias is not far behind Manus. Like, Ornstein and Smaug are still one of my favorite boss fights, but they would be like over here compared to where those other three are. See previous message. A fun fact, it's theorized that Artorias is actually left-handed, which means he was fighting you with his dominant arm broken and useless. What is the basis of that theory? I'm curious. Sanctuary Guardian, C tier. Bottom of C tier? Yeah, I would rather fight the Asylum Demon than Sanctuary Guardian. Neat design, it's like a chimera, but it doesn't have a story. The mechanics are annoying, the lightning is super obnoxious, and fighting two of them at once sucks. Bottom of C tier. Bell Gargoyle. Also C tier below the Asylum Demon, but higher than the Sanctuary Guardian. It's a neat design, it's a gargoyle, but it doesn't really have a story, and fighting two of them at once sucks. Moving on. The Capra Demon. Oh, I kind of repressed the Capra Demon. D tier? Bottomest of bottom in D tier? Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that being the Capra Demon. Getting to the Capra Demon sucks. Half of your health goes away as soon as you walk into the boss arena. It has two dogs accompanying it, and that's never a good sign. The arena is small and cramped, and you can't see anything because every time you turn your camera 2 degrees, there's a tree in the way, and all of a sudden your health bar is just gone for no reason because you can't see what's going on. Not fun. Not a good time. Capra is to Vent as the Bed of Chaos is to other players. How could you place it? You just edited that VOD. I really, really love that VOD. I love that video. That was probably my favorite bit of editing that I've done. Artorias has a tower shield and one of his arms was broken, so people think that due to his sword arm being broken, he gives his shield to defend his pet from the abyss, because Pupper is good boy. Or girl. Is Sif confirmed boy or girl, or is that just assumed? Ceaseless Discharge. D tier? I'll put it above the Moonlight Butterfly, but it isn't really an exciting boss fight for me. I know that there's a gimmick to it, which is fun. Meh. I didn't engage with the gimmick. I didn't find that out organically. I only learned it after the fact. The fight itself was kind of just, hey, I'm gonna cast some spells and 50% of them are gonna go far enough to hit. I imagine if you're melee, that fight probably really sucks. It's an interesting design, though. I think it's the biggest boss in the game. So I give it some points for the design, but otherwise, as a boss fight, it's kind of meh. It's a lot harder as melee. Yeah, that makes sense. Centipede Demon. Ooh. I'm gonna put Centipede Demon in the B tier. Below Sif. My thoughts with this are, it's a challenging fight, and it's got some really cool, unique mechanics. I like the... if you cut part of its body off, it will spawn ads. That's really cool, and it makes the way that you fight him matter. If you're gonna whack him willy-nilly, then you might be making the fight harder for yourself. So you have to be a little bit more mindful of how you engage. I like that it has the added difficulty of the lava, and you have to pick your positioning very carefully as well, which makes the Centipede Demon a very intentional boss fight. Story-wise, I think it's cool. You learn from the ring that he drops that this was a person who fell into the lava and arose as the Centipede Demon. That's cool. The reason I don't rank it higher is because the lava is the problem. You can't safely navigate it until you get the ring that drops from the boss. So you're not really likely to walk in and first try the boss, and that's not because of the way that the boss's mechanics are set up. It's not because of the patterns. It's not because of the attacks. It's because of the fact that there's lava here that you can just get caught standing in the wrong spot, and then the Centipede Demon's leg will move you. It will just forcibly push you into the lava, and you will die. You cannot do anything about it because of the damage that the lava does. You have to either get to a safe space and fight it there, or you have to get the ring and equip it. Found the basis of the theory. There's a weapon in Dark Souls 2 that shares its movesets with Artorias' sword, and I'm fairly certain it's confirmed that it's his sword. The description says, uncannily, every last one of the prominent swordsmen who inherited this weapon was left-handed. Neat. Alright, 4 more to go. Chaos Witch Quelaag. B tier as well. This Dark Souls music's a whole lot more intense than I was expecting. Quelaag is gonna go in C tier, actually, for me. I'll put her below the Iron Golem and above the Gaping Demon. Let's get this out of the way. People like boobs, okay? We got it. She's topless. Moving on. Character design, it's cool, honestly. It's scary. I really like how off-putting it is. How she, like, shows up and the camera pans through, like, this big demonic corrupted spider, and then it shows her torso and it's like rising up, being like, this was once a person, this was once a human, and now has become this monster. I also like that it stops like just short of her whole face. You don't really get to see the humanity. The camera just kind of stops shy of her eyes, and then the boss fight starts. That does a lot to set up the tone. As a boss fight itself, it was not much. I beat it first try because I was able to just stand at a distance and spam her with spells. Maybe if I were melee, I would rank this higher, but my experience as a ranged spellcaster here was I can just stay 20 feet back and do this for 5 minutes and she goes down. So, a bit underwhelming as far as boss fights go, kind of forgettable. True, I do like those. Vent's just traumatized from having to go on the water wheel to fight her. Yep, that is true. That is true. The run back for her sucked. Quelaag and her sisters make me think of the Driders in D&D. Well, Driders are done as a punishment in the Forgotten Realms. If you displease the Spider Queen, then you will be turned into a Drider, and it is considered like the lowest of lows. But yes, certainly their inspiration. Crossbreed Priscilla. So I can't really rank her as a boss fight because I didn't fight her, but I'm gonna put her in A tier. I'm gonna put her in a high A tier, actually, because visually she's got a cool design. She's got a scythe, she's got like this fluffy coat, she's got like these scales on her face, and she's got like a kind of cat looking tail, I think. She's cool visually, but I also like that she is an optional boss fight in the most true sense of the word. She is optional. You walk into her boss arena and she says, I have no quarrel with you, you have no quarrel with me. Leave and we will not have a problem. And I said, okay, cool. And I did. So I can't comment on the boss fight. I like her design, I like her character, I like her story. She's cool. Dark Sun Gwendolyn, D tier. D tier below Pinwheel, but above Capra Demon. It wasn't much of a boss fight, and it's an annoying boss fight for as much as it is one. It just, he runs away from you, and that's it. Oh hey, Crossbreed Priscilla's music is playing right now. Dark Sun Gwendolyn is impossible to find. I think it's literally impossible to find this boss if you do not have a guide. I'm pretty sure that that's not just a me thing. I'm not blind. It's just that the game is very, very intentional about hiding it, okay? The boss itself, not fun to fight. Just run down a hallway and dodge ranged attacks until you get close enough. I have the most wonderful clip for you. No, 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 no. You did find him without a guide. Well, that's because I'm a god, okay? That's because I am fantastic at this game. You didn't use the lever twice, that's on you. Shush. Design-wise, I like the snakes. Otherwise, this is Miquella. He's got a funny hat. And finally, the Demon Fire Sage. So I put the Stray Demon up in A tier. I put the Asylum Demon down in C tier. I'm gonna put the Stray Demon above the Taurus Demon. And above Seath the Scaleless right in B tier. And the reason for this is, it was an interesting boss fight. It was fun, and it required me to, you know, pay attention and be intentional about my movement. But it's just the Stray Demon again. This was the first demon, neat story, but like, I'd already done this. This was not new. So why are we pretending like this is a new boss? The Demon Fire Sage. Shut up. That's just a stray demon with extra visual effects. Ceaseless Discharge is in constant terrible pain, also speculated to be an infant. Man, I'm so eager to dive into like the lore and the story here. All right, so that is the bosses tier list.